Hi guys, welcome to a new segment for my channel. It's called Yes I Do Cook, because yes, I do cook. Today, or well, at least when I filmed this, we're making moussaka, which is perfect for the fall season. Moussaka is a Greek dish filled with meat, potatoes, and eggplant, topped with a bechamel sauce and cheese, but I'm gonna make it vegan. So before y'all come for my neck, okay, maybe this is a Greek-inspired dish for the fall, and I'm not gonna call it moussaka before I get like my throat cut or something, but I am gonna show you how to make it. It's fairly easy. I did make a few adjustments to the recipe afterwards because I forgot to add some stuff, but I'll add the full recipe in the description box below. So stick around and you'll see what I'm gonna do. So let's start with the base, which is the potatoes and eggplant. So I'm starting off with cutting up the eggplant into even slices. Just make sure they're not too thick or it will take too long to cook. I don't know what happened to the eggplant footage, by the way. It's really blurry. I don't know what it is. I think my camera was set up wrong. I don't know what it is. Anyway, bear with me. And then you want to season the eggplant with salt. Give it a little mix. And then you want to put them aside for 30 minutes into like this strainer so that the liquid can go out of the eggplant, which makes it easier to cook. 30 minutes. Then you're slicing up your potatoes. I don't know what is up with my knife skills. I am actually not that good at cutting things up. But yeah, you want to cut your potatoes. You want to cut them into even slices as well. Make sure they're not too thick, but also not too thin because they'll burn easily when you fry them up. So after you cut all of the potatoes, you want to season them with salt, and you don't necessarily need to put these aside to wait. They're fine on their own, but just because you're also letting the eggplants rest, just put them aside as well. So after 30 minutes, you want to rinse your eggplant. Make sure that all of the salt that you put on it is kind of off of there, and all of the liquid that is in the eggplant is out of it. After you rinsed all of the slices, you kind of squeeze them to make sure that they're dry. And then you can easily fry them without big splashes happening in the pan because water and oil don't really mix, obviously. Okay, so now you want to slice all of the potato and all of the eggplant, and that takes a long time. I don't know what happened to me filming. I think it cut off somewhere in like the beginning of me filming this whole process, but it took I think around 25 minutes to like fully cook all of these slices, but this is quite a big dish, so it makes a lot of sense. You don't necessarily need to add the potatoes, by the way, to the recipe. It's just a thing that you can, and I think it makes the whole dish a little bit more heartier, and I like that a lot. But you can skip all the potatoes if you like, and just use eggplant. It also saves up time. And here's a shot of them looking golden brown and nice. And then you want to set this whole thing aside and focus on the second part of the recipe, which is cooking the sauce. So into a medium-sized saucepan, you want to add a knob of butter, let that melt a little bit, and then proceed to add in minced garlic and onion. I cut this off camera. It's basically, I think, half a red onion and a whole white onion, but do check the description box for the full recipe. And then 2 cloves of garlic. Add that to the pan and kind of fry that up a little bit until the onion is translucent in color. Then you want to add in your meat. I used 400 grams of meat. You should actually add 800 grams of meat. I'm using vegan meat from Naturli. It's so good. Oh my god, I'm obsessed with it. You can use any type of vegan meat replacement if you like. Or you can replace this with lentils if you want like another protein source. Or you can add in the same amount of mushrooms. Then proceed to add your tomato paste. And after you add your tomato paste, stir it up a little bit. So to kind of create that depth of flavor, that umami flavor, I use soy sauce. It's really good. Don't knock it before you try it. And I just stir everything together. Also add in baking soda. Like I use the tip of a knife to measure it. Then add your tomato chunks, or how do you say that? Diced tomato. I use 1 can, and I always put in some water into the can, swirl that around a little bit, and then put that stuff into the pan as well, just to make sure that I got every bit of tomato from the can. Now this is when I season everything. I'll list everything in the description box because it's a lot to name. And then at the end, I add in a bay leaf, and once you've added that in, you stir it around and you just set that to cook until the water is mostly reduced and it's more of a thicker sauce. And then the next part is gonna be the bechamel sauce that goes on top. So put butter into a pan and let that melt completely. Then you want to add some flour and mix this together to create a roux. And once you've done that, you want to add milk in slowly but surely until you get this like thick consistency. Make sure that you keep stirring throughout because you don't want this to clump up and burn. And you kind of want to get to this point. Now, when it's at this stage, I just add in nutritional yeast because it gives it a cheesy flavor. You can skip this if you want and add in vegan cheese. I'm also adding in vegan cheese, but the nutritional yeast just gives it another kick of flavor that is like really good. Then you can put in nutmeg, salt, pepper, and then you have made your sauce. So when the meat sauce is reduced to something like this, you should go into part 4, which is assembly, the most important part. You want to layer your moussaka kind of like a lasagna, so I start off with layering potatoes and eggplant and then covering that with some of that meat sauce. And because I use too little meat, that's why I almost run out of sauce before I fill the whole thing. And then I just alternate these layers and then top it off with the bechamel sauce and some cheese on top. Then you want to put that in your preheated oven for about 45 minutes to an hour until the top layer is melted and the whole thing just kind of looks cooked through. And then you want to take it out of the oven, let it rest for like 15 minutes, and it should look something like this. Then after 15 minutes it's done and you'll be able to slice into it and get yourself a good slice of moussaka. Very delicious stuff. I topped it off with some parsley to make it look all cute and shit because honestly it kind of looks like a gray mess without it, but it's fine and it tastes so good. Here's me being overly excited by it. So yeah, that was it. I hope you liked my recipe. I'm gonna try and make more of this. I really enjoyed making this. If you guys liked it as well, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.